tell you this. Over his last 24 games, Christian Walker is hitting .329 with 6 home runs. He's hot. Now, there's a downside to Christian Walker. During this same 24-game period, when he's hitting .329, he's only hitting .224 with runners in scoring position. In his last 7 games, he's 10 for 21 with 2 home runs. In his last 7 games, he's hitting .476 with a 1.331 OPS. He's hot. I know. I was just waiting. Phil Chaplin says Walker is a bum. He's a hot bum right now. And there's talk about players coming up. They've got a third baseman that's been on the IL who may be coming up soon. But here's another important stat. Against right-handed pitching this year, Christian Walker, 195 at-bats, 55 hits. That's a .282 average. Of those 55 hits, 25 have been extra base hits. 13 doubles and 11 home runs off of same side pitching. Walker's a right-handed bat, and off right-handed pitching, he's at 11 home runs. Okay, what's he done against lefties? Jake Lamb wants to know. Because against lefties, he's not as good. He's had 76 plate appearances, 18 hits, only 3 home runs. He's hitting .237 against lefties. So he's .282 against righties, .237 against lefties. So when Jake Lamb comes back, don't assume a platoon split in favor of Jake Lamb. I thought it was going to be out with Christian Walker, in with Kevin Cron 3 weeks ago. I was wrong. They've stuck with Walker. He's a better hitter against right-handers. His last 24 games, he's hitting .329. On the season, he's got 14 home runs. It looks like Arizona has made a firm commitment to stick with Christian Walker. So these are 2 hot hitters that are probably available in some leagues. Jackie Bradley Jr., over his last 33 games, a 1.034 OPS. And Christian Walker, in his last 24 games, a .329 batting average with 6 home runs. And even with Jake Lamb coming up, he out-hits against righties compared to lefties. Okay, 2 cold hitters. Didi Gregorius, out for most of the year, came back a couple weeks ago. He's hitting .241 through 14 games with 10 strikeouts. And Alex Gordon. Yeah, remember Alex Gordon, how hot he was at one point? Alex Gordon now is, over his last 20 games, only hitting .205. So these are guys I'm looking to deal. I'm looking probably to cut. I don't know anyone who's interested in Alex Gordon. There may be interest in a deep league. Didi, maybe some interest trade-wise because he does play on the Yankees. He is going to play more than not. This is not the start the Yankees hope for, nor Didi Gregorius hope for this year. Didi Gregorius is in a walk year with the Yankees, not off to a hot start. Remember last year? Remember how in 2018 Didi came out guns blazing? Yeah, I mean, he was just firing on all cylinders. Yes, he was. Firing on all cylinders. He was hitting .350, was hitting home runs like crazy, and he cooled off in the second half, but he did not start the same way this year. And so it's very important for Didi and his walk year that he amp it up. And here come the Red Sox. They're going to be in London. The Red Sox, the Red Coats, whatever you want to call it. They're coming after you Yanks. And it's not 1776, but the Red Coats are coming. And now it's on their turf, not ours. So let's see how the Yankees do against the Red Sox this weekend. But those are 2 cold hitters. And it says here, Cha-Cha says, what's the chance Phil is wearing underwear during Arnie's podcast? Well, there's a man crush going on there probably, Cha-Cha. And I'm wondering, Cha-Cha, what you're wearing. I really am. Now that you bring it up, I didn't see Phil bring it up, but now that you have, I'm just curious. Anyway, let's move along. This afternoon, Aaron Boone was on WFAN talking about the Yankees, and I got real interested in that. And so I got some clips from that interview I want to play for you in just a moment. He's talking about the team, the bullpen, just a lot of Interesting things going on with Aaron Boone and the Yankees. And again, this is courtesy of YouTube and WFAN. First, he's talking about Jay Happ.
Because he's so precise in his pitches, and because he's a guy that pitches up in the zone, bottom line is he's been hurt by the long ball, and it's ruined a few of his outings, and he's pitched a handful of games really well for us, and he's pitched some games where he's pitched well, but the long ball in a situation has hurt him and kind of ruined the outing for him a little bit. But I do feel like he's a lot closer than maybe the numbers might suggest, and he'll get some time now with the off days where he won't pitch in London. He'll probably pitch in when we get back either against the Mets or the first game in Tampa. So he'll have a 9 or 10 day break. So hopefully that's just something that he can work on some things in between. But I feel like stuff-wise, he's not far off.
Jay Happ has struggled this year, no doubt about it. That's Aaron Boone talking about his lefty, and Jay Happ is critical to this team. Their bullpen is being used quite a bit. Their starting rotation, kind of shaky. Well, not just kind of shaky. Jay Happ is part of that shaking. I'm telling you, he's 7-4. Win-loss wise, not so bad. But he's got an ERA over 5, 5.23, a 1.28 whip. In his last outing, I watched it. I was there in person. It wasn't good. He went 4 innings against the Astros on Sunday, gave up 11 hits, 8 earned runs, and only struck out 2. The start before that, he only went 5 innings, didn't walk anybody, but only struck out 3. And on June 13th against the White Sox, he pitched 5 innings and only struck out 2 with 4 walks. Jay Happ has got to turn it around. He is important to that team. Without him pitching well, it could be a bad season. What do you do with Jay Happ in the playoffs? You put him on the bench. I mean, this is why the Yankees need to make a trade. They need to make a trade soon because it's just not going to work with Jay Happ pitching like he has. Boone went on to talk about his team and how he's rotating his lineup, and here's what he had to say about.
I mean, with our roster right now, you're resting someone significant pretty much every day.
Right.
So there's a chance that Hicks could be out of the lineup on the day game tomorrow. Possibly Gary. We'll just kind of see how tonight plays out and how long of a game, how deep into the night we go, and we'll kind of weigh those things after the game. But for the most part, we're a go. We're treating the off days as something that can be a little bit of a recovery for these guys. So we're go as far as lineups go.
And all as usual.
No, regular business as usual. We will roll out our guys. We obviously we'll have a 26-man that is a non-pitcher that's on the active roster, and then we're able to carry 2 guys that aren't on the active roster that in case something were to happen over there from an injury.
Oh, okay. So you got a little.
That'll give us a little bit of flexibility if we got into any sort of game, or maybe there's more of an area where you might aggressively pinch run or something in a situation. I mean, it obviously allowed us to bring another pitcher back, and Cortez is back and obviously a guy that gives us length, and he'll follow Chad Green tonight in all likelihood to be that guy to give us length tonight. But no, with between Gardy, Hicks, Judge, and Stant, we have 4 outfielders. So it allows me to still build, especially with Stanton and Judge, kind of slowly but surely build them up and still keep them fresh. Just we miss the player that Maben is, but it doesn't affect us too much and actually allows us to have that extra pitcher.
So that's Boone talking about getting prepared to go to England, talking about the loss of Cameron Maben and the effect it has on his lineup. And in essence, what he's saying is it really doesn't affect them. He's got, now with Judge and Stanton back, he's got a rotation going on. And so, the Yankees just continue to beat go on, right? Then he went on to talk about some more things.
Left, right kind of depends, and the way we're kind of rotating a little bit with our bench. No, I'm not that set on just having something completely set. We'll play with some things. I mean, for the most part, you kind of have an idea where guys are going to be. They all belong in the middle or at the top of the lineup, but
right.
Obviously, like tonight we got our 7, 8, 9er Hicks, Torres, Urshela.
Right.
Encarnacion's hitting 6. I mean, so it's fun to write these names in right now, knowing how dangerous and productive they are.
They are.
Just trying to build him up to 4 and 5, and eventually get back to where he's playing every day. Same thing. We're being a little cautious with Stanton just because of some of the soft tissue stuff he's had. We're always a little cautious with Hicks, so and still kind of building Didi back to where I think I just got him up to about 5 in a row. So we'll continue to build him, and but I think it's something that hopefully benefits these guys in the long term, but also in the mix on basically a regular basis.
Well,
so that's Aaron Boone talking about his lineup. Aaron Judge working him back in. Stanton. It's a great day to be a Yankee. I love the T-shirt on the in the chat room. So let's do this. Let's take a look at the lineups that we have as we close out the show. If you're setting lineups, the game started at 7:05. The Yankees against the Phillies. Yes, the Mets against the Phillies. For the Mets, Jeff McNeil, Pete Alonso, Robinson Cano, Michael Conforto, Todd Frazier, Dominique Smith, Wilson Ramos, Ahmed Rosario, and Walter Lockett pitching. He's got a 23.14 ERA. So if he doesn't improve on that, he shall not be pitching long tonight. For the Phils, leading off and playing center field, Scott Kingery. Talked about that lineup move. Last night he batted leadoff for the first time. Kingery went 3 for 6, and the Phillies broke that losing streak. He's leading off again tonight, as I predicted he would be this morning at my 10 o'clock show. Gene Segura batting second, Harper third, Hoskins cleanup, Realmuto fifth, Jay Bruce sixth, Hernandez seventh, Franco playing third base and batting eighth, and Jake Arrieta pitching and batting ninth. For the San Diego-Baltimore game, the Padres are in Baltimore with Fernando Tatis Jr. leading off and playing shortstop. Hosmer, Machado, Renfroe, Franmil Reyes, Josh Naylor DHing tonight. Yes, he is, and that's a quick left-handed bat at Camden Yards. I like Josh Naylor. Francisco Mejia, Ian Kinsler, and Manny Margot against Logan Allen pitching for the Padres. He's 1-0. He pitched 7 innings in his debut last week. For the Orioles, Hanser Alberto. And this is going to be a really strong right-handed group. They're going to go right-handed strong tonight. Trey Mancini batting second. Pedro Severino catching and batting third. Renato Nunez is the DH. Jonathan Villar. Dwight Smith, the only lefty in the starting lineup, batting sixth. Anthony Santander. Keon Broxton. And batting ninth to shortstop, Richie Martin. Tonight in the Bronx Yankee Stadium, it's Toronto and Clayton Richard against Chad Green, the opener for the Yankees. For the Blue Jays, Eric Sogard is DHing, leading off. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Lourdes Gurriel, Kevin Biggio batting cleanup, Teoscar Hernandez, Rowdy Tellez, and Tellez is going to be playing a lot in the second half as they trade players. Tellez is going to put up numbers. Randall Grichuk batting seventh, Freddie Galvis eighth, and Danny Jetson is catching and batting ninth. And for the homestanding New York Yankees, you heard Aaron Boone talk about his batting order 6 through 9. I'll give you the rest. DJ LeMahieu leading off, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, Giancarlo Stanton, Luke Voigt, and as Aaron Boone told you earlier, Encarnacion 6, Hicks 7, Torres 8, and Urshela 9. Washington is in Miami tonight. Max Scherzer against Trevor Richards. And for the visiting Washington Nationals, Trey Turner, Adam Eaton, Anthony Rendon, Juan Soto, Howie Kendrick, Kurt Suzuki, Brian Dozier, Victor Robles, and Max Scherzer. For the Miami Marlins, they will lead off with Miguel Rojas at shortstop, Garrett Cooper in right, Brian Anderson, Starlin Castro, Neil Walker, Curtis Granderson, J.T. Riddle, Wilkin Castillo, and Trevor Richards batting ninth. The Tigers are hosting the Rangers in Detroit. Jesse Chavez against Jordan Zimmerman. For the Texas Rangers, DHing and leading off, Shin Soo Choo, Willie Calhoun, Elvis Andrus, Nomar Mazara, Joey Gallo off the IL and starting tonight. And I agree, Mark Youngblood, Tellez will be huge in the second half. Logan Forsythe Batting 6, Rowan Odor. 7, Ronald Guzman. 8, and Jeff Mathis batting 9th. For the Detroit Tigers, Jacoby Jones leading off, Nicholas Castellanos second, Miguel Cabrera, Brandon Dixon, Kristen Stewart,